Welcome to Romance with Mariel. I'm your host, Mariel, and today we're going to be talking about the most romantic fashion aesthetics. I'm going to be talking about what these aesthetics are, what they're inspired by, and how to build a wardrobe for these aesthetics. And the main ones I'm going to be talking about are angelcore, romantic academia, and balletcore. I'll also touch on some other romantic looking aesthetics that you can look into for fashion inspiration, and I'll talk about where to shop for these aesthetics. So I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, like, comment, subscribe if you aren't already, and let me know in the comments down below what you want to see in the future. Another video idea similar to this that I wanted to do is touching upon feminine aesthetics in general, so that could include more modern styles, more trendy styles instead of just these romantic, ethereal looking aesthetics. So if that sounds interesting, let me know down below. And if you want even more fashion and aesthetic content, follow me on Instagram at DRESSRELIEF and on TikTok at DRESSRELIEF. And let's jump right into this video. Okay, so let's start off with angelcore. I touched upon angelcore and balletcore briefly in my lesser known aesthetics video, part 2. So if you want to watch that as well, check it out. But as a little review, angelcore is an aesthetic that is based on imagery and depictions of angels and cherubs, so you'll see a lot of those motifs as well as wings, halos, etc. So it's a very ethereal aesthetic based on the European idea of angels, and it's associated with softness, purity, benevolence, tranquility, and the typical color palette would be white, gold, and pastel colors, especially pastel blue and pastel pink. Some other typical visuals you'd see would be glitter, flowers, roses, hearts, clouds, the sky in general, Cupid, wings, harps, halos, mirrors, and columns. In terms of fashion, I would look for silk and sheer fabrics, which I think applies for most romantic aesthetics. Things like lace, tulle, and satin, and I might even go for velvet for the colder months. I would go for long, flowy clothing like skirts and dresses, and specifically for angelcore, you could look for feathers, crosses, and things like that, you know, inspired by angels. For shoes, I'd go for ballet flats, maybe some kitten heels or some sort of slender looking heel, maybe some Mary Janes. Any kind of feminine looking shoe in general would probably work. For jewelry, I'd go for some dainty jewelry, especially in gold, because gold is part of that angelcore color palette. You could also look for flowers or floral patterns on clothing. And since there's a lot of European influence on angelcore, I think it would be really cool to go for like Renaissance inspired items, maybe corsets, a lot of gold detailing as well. I think that would be a really cool take on angelcore. Next, we're going to talk about romantic academia. I have done so many videos on dark and light academia. Most of you probably found me from there. So if you haven't though, check those out. I have a whole playlist on dark academia. But romantic academia is very similar to light academia, but it's obviously more focused on love, romance, romantic literature, and the romantic era. So I would go for a color scheme that is very similar to light academia, like whites, browns, tans, beiges, but I'd also add in some colors more representative of love, like soft pink colors, mauve, red or wine red, burgundy. I think those would fit in really well. But of course, you don't have to stick to the color palette super strictly. You can add in some other colors as well, but I just think those would really fit that love aspect of romantic academia. Now, going off of the aesthetics wiki, which of course is such a great resource for those of you who are interested in exploring different aesthetics, some typical visuals and objects you would see in light academia would be flowers and especially roses, so very similar to angelcore there. Lipstick marks, teapots, teacups, mirrors, also similar to angelcore, hair bows, white bed sheets, pearls, Greek statues, chandeliers, old books, tea, gold picture frames, typewriters, perfume and cologne bottles, wine, not cranberry juice. You know, things that you would find in dark and light academia but are more on the romantic side. For example, like the gold picture frame, very vintage inspired, but very romantic and pretty as well. For fabric, it would be very similar to angelcore as well. We're going for those very romantic, loose, flowy fabrics like silk, lace, satin, and also fabrics like velvet, cashmere, luxurious, romantic fabrics. You know, I'm pretty sure I did a video on types of academia as well if you want to explore those, and I did cover romantic academia a little bit there, but I think it's nice to put it into this one video on romantic and feminine wardrobes. So to go on, some tops you could find are some draped blouses, lace blouses, Peter Pan collars, ruffle blouses, button-down silk or lace camisoles, feminine sweaters and cardigans, and then I think you could also incorporate some lingerie into romantic academia, things like the lace camisoles that I mentioned, corsets, bustiers, anything like that would really fit that romantic aspect of academia. For bottoms, I'd go for classic pleated trousers that really fit that academia aesthetic. Some dress pants, skirts like a pencil skirt, a mini skirt, an A-line skirt, maybe even a circle skirt or a pleated skirt. You could also go for flowy dresses similar to angelcore. For outerwear, you can go for blazers to fit more of that academia aesthetic or a long coat. And for accessories, I'd go for like lacy tights or socks, dainty jewelry, pearl jewelry, gold jewelry, vintage inspired jewelry, lockets, especially since it is romantic academia, you might want to keep a little locket of your lover. And for shoes, I'd go for ballet flats, heels, Mary Janes, typical academia shoes. Oxfords and dress shoes might even work here too. Next, let's talk about balletcore, which I also mentioned in my second lesser known aesthetics video, but I will go over just a little bit more here. Now I do want to recognize some of the controversies behind balletcore, and I know a lot of actual ballet dancers are not big fans of this aesthetic because it does very much romanticize ballet, which, you know, can be said about most aesthetics. I feel like a lot of them romanticize and stereotype certain groups of people or eras or professions. Like dark academia definitely romanticizes elite universities, especially English universities in the 40s and 50s, which can be problematic in some ways. But for balletcore, it is a very serious profession and art form, and I can see how ballet dancers would be offended by how TikTok and Pinterest just whittles it down to like a cute little aesthetic and trend. And of course, there is a history of issues that have been in ballet since forever, such as the lack of diversity or the promotion of unhealthily skinny bodies, which we definitely don't want to romanticize. So I definitely see how it can be problematic. In terms of pure aesthetic and visuals, I do think it is a pretty aesthetic. It's really cute. I like how it's basically athleisure but with a more feminine touch to it. So I definitely see the appeal. Like, I personally don't really like athleisure on me. I just don't think it's very flattering on me. So I think a more feminine silhouette of athleisure would be really cute. And this is purely speaking on the section of ballet that is inspired by practice and rehearsal wear. And I also think this version of balletcore is super accessible as an aesthetic because, I mean, personally, I have a lot of cardigans and leggings and leg warmers already, so I can already use those to make a balletcore outfit. And I like that because I feel like the rise of so many different aesthetics and cores really contributes to overconsumption and micro trends. And while I love exploring different aesthetics, I hate having too many clothes and too many things and end up not even using a lot of these things. So I always try to be really intentional about what I buy. So when I try a new aesthetic, I try to use things that I already have, or if anything, I'd like to shop secondhand, and I feel like you could find a lot of these items secondhand. So, you know, if you want to try this aesthetic, just be aware of the problems behind it and be respectful. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the basics. So if you want to go for more like performance wear inspired balletcore, I'd go for like tulle, lace, embellishments like rhinestones, glitter and things like that. But for the more practice rehearsal wear inspired balletcore, I'd go for tights, leggings, bodysuits, wrap tops, wrap skirts, wrap dresses, leg warmers, ballet flats or ballet pumps, cardigans, maybe a coat, or even sweatpants. You can do high bun hairstyles, some light natural makeup, and for a color palette, I would go for neutral colors like beige, nudes, black, white, gray, and pastel colors. I also feel like this is an aesthetic that you can subtly incorporate into your wardrobe. You don't have to go full out, like you just look like you got out of ballet practice type of ballet core outfits. You can kind of just incorporate some leg warmers into an outfit, maybe a wrap top or cardigan but paired with jeans. You can wear ballet flats or pumps or a lace-up shoe with a more casual dress or skirt. You can really just pick and choose some of these items and you don't have to look super ballet core. Now some other romantic aesthetics that I'll just quickly touch upon if you want to look these up for more inspiration pics would be cottagecore, which I only didn't include just because it's kind of a little more casual than the romantic aesthetics that I was thinking of. Definitely more casual and farm life inspired than the aesthetics I mentioned earlier, angelcore, romantic academia, balletcore, but I still think it is a very pretty, feminine, and romantic aesthetic. You can also try mixing aesthetics, like you could do ballet academia or fairy academia could also be a very romantic aesthetic and very ethereal as well. On the opposite end of cottagecore, an aesthetic that is very not casual that you can look into is royalcore, which, like the name suggests, is inspired by royalty, and I only didn't include this just because it felt a little too impractical and dressed up, but I also think that is a very pretty, ethereal, and romantic aesthetic. Another aesthetic that I feel like gives off romantic vibes is the French girl aesthetic, which very much romanticizes the stereotypical French girl, and like I mentioned earlier, I feel like a lot of aesthetics romanticize or are kind of stereotypical of a certain lifestyle in a way. But in terms of the visuals, I feel like it's a very classic look that fits that romantic vibe. And finally, let's talk about where to shop for these kinds of clothing. I always have to mention thrifting and shopping secondhand first, of course, because I really want to promote sustainability. I feel like since I talk about aesthetics especially, I really don't want to promote the trends of aesthetics. Like, aesthetics come and go really fast on TikTok in terms of popularity, and I just really think you should, first of all, try to use items that you already have in your closet, and second of all, try to shop secondhand before all else. One store that I feel like fits these aesthetics so perfectly is Chu, which is a Korean brand that has so many feminine and flowy skirts and dresses, pretty tops, and I think these would really fit the romantic aesthetics really well. Another option would be Jing or J.ing. I'm not really sure how to say the name, but they have a lot of similar styles to Chu, and I have shopped from there quite a few times and I really like their items. And they have sales quite frequently, so if you see something you like there, I'd recommend waiting for a sale. Another option would be And Other Stories, though it's a little bit pricier than there, but they also have some pretty good sale options, so I'd check it out. I'd also check out Etsy, especially for accessories. They have so many jewelry options on there that I definitely check out. For other accessory options, there is Fable England. They have a lot of cottagecore inspired jewelry, but I think some of their items can also work for these other aesthetics like angelcore, romantic academia. I think it's worth checking out. I also really like Vanessa Mooney. They have a lot of jewelry options, but I especially love their clothing. I have their Elizabeth dress, which, to be fair, is pretty pricey, but it is so pretty. It's so cute, and I feel like it would fit these romantic aesthetics too. For some affordable options, I typically recommend YesStyle, H&M, ASOS. I feel like they have options for a lot of different aesthetics, and they are at a pretty fair price point, so I check those out. And if you got a little money, then for the more expensive side, I would check out Cezanne, Maji, Rouge, Reformation, and House of CB. They have such beautiful clothing, which it's quite out of my budget right now, but someday. And those are pretty much all the options that I could think of for where to shop for romantic aesthetics. But if you have any suggestions, definitely let me know in the comments. I love finding new places to shop, especially if they're sustainable. I love finding new sustainable or small businesses. First of all, because it's better for the environment, but also I just feel like they have a lot more unique options, which is super cool. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you do, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and of course let me know what you want to see in the video. I love hearing you guys' suggestions. See you guys next time.